Hi, editing Michelle here. Just started to edit this video and realised the entire first half of March, the videos that I filmed have been deleted somehow. So enjoy the last, I want to say 9 days of March vlog.
I haven't done much reading until today. So I knew I was going to Leeds with friends and I would be getting the train there and back on my own and obviously the bus. So I thought, what a better day to start City of Sinners, a week late. I read 324 pages just to and from Leeds. That is one thing I love about Dan's books. They are just so quick to read. And I could potentially finish this tonight. I am absolutely knackered, so I'm not going to read anymore. I have yawned about 7 times trying to start this clip. Saying that will be finished. This book will be finished tomorrow. This is the 3rd book in the Harry Wordy series, which is currently on BBC. Book 1 is a series currently on BBC iPlayer. I need to catch up with that. And it is set in the wonderful city of Bradford, where I live, which is another reason I love these books, because I'm reading these books going, I know where that is, I know where that is, I know where that is. But yeah, Harry Wordy is a DCI, if I remember correctly, yep, in the police, and he's a very great character, and he looks at the underbelly of Bradford, let's say, and I thoroughly enjoy reading about the underbelly of Bradford. So yeah, it is currently a 4-star book, very nearly a 5. It's the ending, I think that's that I know if you'll take this to a 5 or not. But I know I'm gonna probably finish this tomorrow, and then I'm gonna have to stop myself, going to Waterstones tomorrow, and buying the 4th book and last book I believe in this series at the moment, and then buying more books. Because I believe Stacey Halls has another book out, this one. I saw it the other day when I got books. I shouldn't, actually, just the day after last payday, and I spent 50 quid instead of like tenner. But anyway, and I put it back. Now, Stacey Halls, I believe she's either a Bradford author or she's a West Yorkshire author, and I really like her historical fiction. So I will be picking this up because I know I will read it. Update-ish on the book unhauling. I am currently looking at my shelves and there are more books to potentially unhaul. I have my little stack of 10 that I think I'm not going to read. I was actually looking at them the other day and I was like, yeah, definitely not reading them. And now I'm actually looking at my shelves again and I'm like, there is more that I want to take off. So yeah, I would say I would spend the day tomorrow after finishing City of Sinners doing that. I'm not. If you can't tell, I have a cold. I'm kind of getting over it, but I just feel so drained. And tomorrow is the first day where I have nothing to do, which is weird for a Sunday because normally I am going to my sister's, but this is the one time we've not organised anything, and I am going to relish that. So you will probably see me tomorrow in pyjamas for however many clips I take. And I'm not apologising because this girl just needs a day of relaxation. I do have some batch cooking to do, but that just means I can read. So yeah, I don't know what book I will pick up afterwards. It will not be off the pile of 3. I just want an easy read book. So it's either going to be a sequel, because I know I like the author's work, or it's going to be a thriller. But after this thriller, do I want another thriller? At this moment in time, yes. So yeah, I'll update you tomorrow when I have finished, and probably then update you in the evening with what book I start next. Hello, Sunday morning. I lied. I finished City of Sinners last night before bed. I was like, I'll just read one chapter, just one, which ended up with me finishing the book. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. As I predicted, the ending made it a 5 stars. like I said, I love this series of books, and that ending was perfect. The ending for all the characters in this book, bar one, was perfect. I don't want to say too much because spoilers. But what I will say is, if you've read this book, do you know what? Spoiler. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like was, I get why, but I didn't like Harry going to see his dad and doing the whole washing the feet thing. Because his dad is a CUNT. I get it's like it's written, over 70 years worth of hatred. I get that'd be hard to change. That woman saved your life. Sorry, your daughter-in-law saved your life, and you are still being a CUNT to her. Also, Mandy can go F herself. I have a feeling that's why Ronnie's the way he is to her. In like, even if you take away the drugs and the alcohol, because I think he knows about those feelings. So, spoiler over. So yeah, I am having to stop myself running to Bradford today to get the 4th and final book. But I work in Bradford City Centre, so I will probably go one of my lunchtime walks to Waterstones and pick up that and Stacey Hall's book and probably another one, and then be like, oh wait, I've spent like another 50 quid. I have £30 on my points card. It's alright. So yeah, I have decided to pick up 2 more books for the rest of March. This will just be a month vlog, as you've probably realised. There is a reason for that. One is the last in the trilogy that I want to finish before I start the author's next series. And the other is a bit like Shari LaPenna, an author who I really enjoy reading, but never get her books enough to read her backlog. So the book that will end the trilogy is a fantasy. It's The Ending Fire by Sarah Elleriti. This is book 3 in the Ending Fire trilogy. I'm pretty sure it is. It is. It's called Ending Fire trilogy. Why did I have to look that up? Yeah, so book 3. I know I've been saying I'm not really being in a fantasy mood. This is one of the fantasy series I really enjoy, because while it is fantasy, it's not heavy fantasy, if that makes sense. Obviously, book 3, can't say anything about what this is without spoiling the other books. But I will read you what the final strife is all about, book 1. I have book 2 on my shelves as well. And that's another reason why I wanted this book, because they're all coloured, and yeah. So I won't read you the actual synopsis, just because that doesn't really give you a full insight into what the trilogy is about. But the blurb on the back of this, I think, sums it up really well. The Empire rules by blood. Red is the blood of the elite, of magic, of control. They are embers. Blue is the blood of the poor, of workers, of the resistance. They are the dusters. Clear is the blood of the servants, of the crushed, of the invisible. They are the ghostings. Is that rule about to come to an end? This was a debut book for Sarah, and I gave it 5 stars. I was hooked. I loved it so much. Yes, it is about revolution. But it's not a typical magic fantasy book, if that makes sense. Which I think is why I loved it so much. So yeah, but in this first book, you are following Sala, and she was an ember baby stolen by dusters, and she wants to join. She wants to join these series of trials to become a god of one of the powers. And she makes friends with the duster baby that took her place in the Ember household. And yeah, so good. So this is 450 pages. There is 8 days left of March, so I need to read about 60-ish pages a day to finish this book. If I remember correctly, these books, the parts are call books. I'm trying to flick through to see if I'm correct. I have a feeling I remember just getting to like a blank page and it being like book 3 or something like that. I'm probably mistaken it. No, I'm not. There is parts. So for example, part 1 finishes on page 112. Don't want to spoil too much. But yeah. So maybe I'll just read it in parts. Who knows? But I do want it finished before end of March. Well, I want to finish it by the end of March so I can start Fearbound, which is our next series, which is fantasy. Again, not sure if I like it or not. But then the other book from an author that I forget I like because I don't read her enough, The Drift by C.J. Tudor. I don't know why I was about to say CL. Yeah, C.J. Tudor's books, they are, well, a lot of people class them as horror. I call them as horror thrillers. And as a girl who doesn't really read a lot of horror because she doesn't like horror, I adore her writing. But like I said, a bit like Shara Le Pennant, and there are a few more authors that now I've looked to my shelves, I'm like, I forget I like you as well. I just, for some reason, don't have, they're not one of my auto-buy authors, so I don't pre-order and I haven't read their backlog. Maybe they can be added to the backlog challenge, who knows. So yeah, I will read you the very short synopsis. An overturned coach full of students, all of them are trapped. A stranded cable car full of strangers, one of them is dead. An isolated chalet full of friends, soon they'll be enemies. Outside, a snowstorm rages. Inside each group, a killer lurks, but that's not their only problem. Why is no rescue coming? What are they trying to escape from? And who are the terrifying whistlers? So yeah, so the plan is that when I read my allotted pages or parts of this book, I will move on to this book. Now I do have a day off coming up in the next week, and I have to be in the house for the morning because I have gas engineers coming out. It's my yearly gas check. So I could do a lot of reading in them 2 days. But I am ahead technically for my Goodreads challenge. I'm 1 book ahead. So as much as I say I want to read both before the end of March, if I don't, I'm not too fussed. Yeah, but I am going to, obviously, today I am going to start both books hopefully, but I am then going to go through the rest of my TBR shelves and take out more books. And I would say go through my Goodreads and TBR jar and take them books off. But let's be honest, I'm probably not going to do any of that and just read and batch cook for the day. So yeah, hopefully I'll come to you tonight with an update. But if I don't, I will update you when I update you. Hello, it is Wednesday. I haven't updated you, obviously, since Sunday. Or was it Saturday? I can't remember, but I said I would update you. I'm exactly 23% of the way through both books. Now, I thought I would be more through the ending fire. I thought I would be on like the page 240 mark or 200 or 300 by today. I started reading this book Sunday, got to 30 pages, and then had a headache starting. And the same happened Monday. I thought I'd read a bit more, and I had a headache starting, so I thought, right, that's a sign my body's telling me not to read. Today I had the day off, so I read some more. I've read part 1. I think it's part 1. Or is it book 1? Part 1. So I've got part 2. I'm not going to finish this by the end of March. I'm not bothered. I'm ahead of my Goodreads goal, so all good. Jump straight back into this. Even though it's been a few years since I read the Battle Drum, or was that last year? It was either last year or the year before. I was worried I would forget where every character was. I didn't. I knew as soon as I read like their name, it would like came to me where he'd left them. So a fantasy that I'm actually enjoying at the moment, which is good. And it's good to know that like 116, 14, 15 pages is around a quarter of the page through this book. So I know I kind of have like little mini goals now, not just my 60 pages a day, but if I don't read for a day, right, can I get to like this percent? But yeah, it's moving along quite quickly, in my opinion, which is good, saying it's obviously the third book in the trilogy. The characters are still as well developed as they were before. It's starting to come together a bit more in my head about how certain parts are going to come together. getting more information about the Zalman and stuff, and that backstory that really confused me is now making more sense. So yeah, really enjoying it. Is there any point rating it 23%? It's me, of course I will. It's a strong 4%. 4%, 4 stars at this moment. The Drift, again, really enjoying it. Very, very different. There is a lot more horror elements in what I've read than what I remember from reading from the other CJ Tudor books I've read. I've read. That's something I like about her, is that she's a horror author, but it's written in a way that's like more thrillery than horror, in my opinion. This one is a little bit more horror at the moment, but I'm not upset about that. I'm really enjoying it. As someone who doesn't read horror, liking it. I have potentially been spoiled about what one of the horror elements is. But even without being spoiled, I could kind of see that in here. I'm gonna be honest, I completely forgotten how I had been spoiled. And then I read a certain chapter and I was like, wait, that sounds like it could be. And then in my head I remembered, oh wait, yeah, that's what that spoiler was. So yeah, really enjoying it. I read the 23% in 40 minutes, just sat at my sister's, waited for it to cook my tea. Perks of living really close to your elder sister. So yeah, I have a feeling I will finish this before March, because I have a feeling that if I don't, well, I know I don't read this, I'll probably pick up this. And I'm finding that while I want to go for walks around work, like at my lunch, I tend, because I work in the centre of town, I just go into a shop and spend money. So I'm thinking I will start bringing paperbacks again to work, so that if I know I'm just gonna go into a shop and spend, I'll just sit at my desk and read. Normally I just watch TikToks, but let's maybe try and get the reading updated. So yeah, currently quarter of the way through both. Yeah, I've had more thoughts about my potential plans for a 24-hour readathon, or reading challenge in April. I think I'm going to do it. I really think I'm going to do it. Just because it will mean I'm not leaving the flat and spending money. Although if I do it on a Wednesday, it means I can go up my sister's and get fed, so potentially leaving the flat. But B, I think I can knock off quite a few of the paperbacks and potentially a hardback or two on my shelves. And I am going to do it as stay awake for 24 hours, which will be hard for me. So I'll have to make sure I'm stocked in the flat, but I can do that. That's not a problem. So yeah, I just need to think about what books I might want to read. It will mainly be thrillers, probably, just because I know I can get through them nearly 100 pages in 40 minutes. So yeah, thrillers all the way. It's just what thrillers will it be? And then potentially having a fantasy that breaks them up. But I'm not sure. I haven't planned it yet. I just know that I'm 95% sure I'm going to do it now. Yeah, and I have been thinking about actually my reading plans for April, even without that. Yeah. I have an idea what my plans are. I'm actually potentially going to have a TBR for April. Yeah. You may get a TBR video for April. Just because I'm staring at my shelves more and more, and I'm just thinking, as much as I want to mood read, and I'm not putting pressure on myself this month, I think by mood reading, I'm kind of taking the mick a little bit. I want to say something else, but I'm taking the mick a little bit with, oh, I don't want to read, I won't read, and I'm leaving it for a week. And it's I know that's going to get me into another reading slump. So yeah, it probably won't be a set TBR, but it will be I hope to read this. Won't include the 24-hour one. Books. So potentially, well, yeah, definitely probably going to hit 10 books read for the year by end of April. potentially more. And potentially reading Kindle books. Now, if you've been on my channel, you know I've done a couple of challenges where I've read Kindle books for a week or within 24 hours, I think. The one that comes to mind is the one I did with my colleagues, recommendations, Jolene and Rebecca, I don't think I mentioned them. They recommended me books. Now, they both read very different at times, Kindle books, so it was quite good to go from one to the other. And then on TikTok, obviously I'm on K-pop TikTok, there was an author, I can't remember her name, and she's written a K-pop idol fan book, and it was free for a weekend, so me and my friend have downloaded it. Potentially I read that next month, or do I save that for July when I go see Stray Kids? But yeah, I just need to see. I just feel like I've done 3 months of mood reading. I kind of need to I want to see if having plans for a month or two sets me back into that reading slump, or if it increases the mojo. I'm just waffling now. It's been nearly 9 minutes and I'm waffling. So yeah, I'm not gonna probably read any more of these just because I need to go do some batch cooking for our lunches. So yeah, no idea when I'll update you next, because tomorrow night I've got plans with a colleague, friend, after work, something we do every month. So potentially it'll be Friday when I update you, and then not much reading Saturday because I'm quite busy, and then Sunday's Mother and Sunday, so probably not much to do reading being done then. But then I am off Monday because we are closed for Eid. It was the suspected day that we thought Eid would be for work, and because a lot of our faculty and students are celebrating Ramadan, I say college side closed for the Monday, and yeah, so it's a day off where I could potentially read some more and potentially film my TBR video, but who knows. So yeah, I'm gonna go do my batch cooking and get some potential piles in for TBRs. I'm actually excited. So yeah, anyway, I'll update you when I have next read some more from both books. Hello, welcome to the only side of the living room that has wallpaper. So it's Friday afternoon. Quick update, I have finished The Drift by CJ Tudor. I give it 4 stars. Remember when I said I spoiled myself? When I finished this book, I realised I spoiled myself for a different CJ Tudor book. So what I said about connecting dots and making sense, ignore all that, although that spoiler could have fit with some of this. But 4 stars. Really good, really well written book. Wasn't too horror-y. I'll say, for most people's standards, horror-y for me. I did see the connection between our 3 characters. I guess that about 50% of the way through. But the way it was written, it, in my opinion, was written that you were meant to pick up on them clues and be like, all right, yeah, that's how you're all connected. But really well written, really enjoyed it, really quick read. So yeah, I was on 250 page mark. There's 390 pages in here, that is the main book. I read them in an hour. That was on buses, which is good for me, because normally on buses I am so panicking when I'm missing my stop, I don't read. So yeah, book 8 of the 8 done. I'm not going to pick up another paperback, I don't think. I think I'm going to try and finish The Ending Fire by the end of Monday, because I have to say Monday now. But I have plans tomorrow, I have plans Sunday afternoon, which means I need to get my shopping in Sunday morning. But then I'm at home all day Monday at the moment. If basically I have an engineer come now, if they come in the morning and are done quickly, it's meant to be nice. I have a feeling, I have an idea that I may walk into town again. I did that the other day, it was 48 minutes, it was glorious. Just through estates, but it was a nice walk. And maybe go charity shopping and get some more books, but we don't mention that. So the plan is anyway to try and finish The Ending Fire by Monday. If I don't do it, I'm not going to be too upset.
But then I also need to film my TBR for April, because that is happening. I have a pile in my bedroom. There's about 5 books on there. You may think, Michelle, pressure. And I haven't included them in my 24-hour one. But I will explain in my TBR why there's 5. But I could potentially change them. I could add more. I don't know. But yeah, so book 8 done. I'm going to go update my reading journal. My book read for the year funding thing. I give myself £2 for every book I read at the year. And then go get tea on because I am hungry. So yeah, hopefully the next update of me tonight or tomorrow with an update on Ending Fire, because currently I'm still on the start of part 2. Hello, I come to you from my sister's. She's not in, but it's Mother's Day. And I've just finished The Perfect Son, not The Ending Fire. I think that will be a book that I take into March. But yeah, I started this yesterday because I was on buses, and I finished it today. Yeah, I give it 3 stars. There's a very big chance that goes down to 2. Just because it was very obvious what the twist was going to be. Practically every twist, not gonna lie. And yeah, it is a 2. I'm actually down to myself whether it's going to be a 1. This is just a book that yeah. It was a quick read, which I like about Frida, but yeah, the twist was so obvious. And that ending, after everything that's happened, really, I want to say that's a red herring, but I don't know. But yeah. So I want to say book 5 of March, book 4. Anyway, another book of March finished. Probably won't start another new book. We'll just try and get through The Ending Fire. Probably won't finish it by end of tomorrow, but who knows? So yeah. Hello. It's 10 to 2 on the last day of March, and I have just finished The Ending Fire by Sarah El-Arifi. I did not think I would be coming to you today to say I finished this, but I read the second part of this book within 52 minutes this morning, and I thought, I'm staying in the flat as far as I know for the full day. Let's see how many parts I can get through. And it's like in my head, as soon as I realised it was like less than 100 or just 100 pages per part, I was off reading. There's no stopping me. So it just finished. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I've really enjoyed this trilogy, and this book was such a good ending trilogy book. Majority of storylines got wrapped up. We had moments with every character we've come to know. It was well paced. One thing I've loved about Sarah's writing is her world building is top class. So even though it'd been a while since I read this book, I fell straight back into it. There was a bit of a recap at the beginning, which I loved. And there was kind of a bit of a snippet of a backstory between each part as well, which again, loved. We had characters that have already been developed being more developed. Storylines happening that some cases maybe didn't see coming, but really enjoyed it. The reason it didn't get 5 stars, the actual ending wrapped up far too quickly for my liking. It could have been eked out a couple more chapters. And I can't say without spoiling, but so yeah, apologies for the cut there, my alarm went off. But yeah, without saying too much and spoiling, the people that survived, there was something. I think there could have been a couple of changes there, but I kind of get why certain things happen to certain characters. Although that epilogue, that last chapter, I don't know if it was needed because we kind of already realised that was kind of happening. But yeah. Also, even though her world building is top class, I would have loved, and I've seen a couple of comments on Goodreads saying this,
maybe like another book, not as big, but like another book just expanding the world building even more. And I do think with this world being quite as big as it is, there is a chance she could come back to this world. Not that I think she will, but she could. But yeah, 4 stars. And also, book 10 of the year, done. Go me, saying as I thought I'd struggle reaching 24. But because I do have majority of the day left, and I don't think I'm leaving this flat, I'm going to pick up another book. I'm going to pick up a book that, even though it's just under 400 pages, I think I can smash out in a day because it's a very quick read author for me. The Teacher by Frida McFadden. So yeah, one of my goals for the next 2 years, if you watched in my videos, is to read Frida's backlog and Linwood Barclay's. So this was just on the pile, and I realised with Frida's, I read, like I said, she's a quick read author for me, and I can probably smash out 400 pages in, let's just say, the next 8 hours before I go to bed. So, The Teacher. Eve has a good life. She gets up each day, gets a kiss from her husband, and heads off to teach math at the local high school. All is as it should be, except last year, Kirsten High was rocked by a scandal involving a student-teacher affair with one student, Addie, at the centre. But Eve knows there is far more to these ugly rumours than meets the eye. Addie can't be trusted. She lies, she hurts people. She destroys lives. At least that's what everyone says. But nobody knows the real Addie. Nobody knows the secrets that would destroy her if people at the school found out. And when Eve discovers the shocking truth, Addie will do anything to keep her quiet. Like I said, I think I can get this read by the end of today, which is good. But I also do need to film my April TBR video. But yeah, I can do that in the next couple of hours as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go have some late lunch / early tea, and then hopefully come back to you tonight saying I have finished, and then wrap up this month because it's been a good month. Hello, it is 9:15. I have just finished The Teacher. It's a 1 star. It is a 1 star. This book has half put me off my project of reading all of Frida McFadden's backlog. And I can't say why it's a 1 star without spoiling. So if you want to read this book, I'll put a spoiler tag up if I still have it. If I don't, yeah. But I'll put something up. But why was both of the teachers having affairs, grooming their students? Why were both of the teachers grooming their students? And why was the female one not revealed until the end as a big twist? That's not a twist, that's disgusting. Both of the teacher characters in this book are disgusting. Our main female teacher, I'll be honest, she's dropping hints about how she hates the husband, and that her parents didn't want her to marry him. Maybe that's because he groomed her too, it turns out. Yeah, maybe that's why she hates him, because she realises he's a fucking groomer. Apologies for swearing. But then she's not that good, because she's shagging the best mate of our female student lead character. Apologies for the profanity here, but I have to say it. That is not a twist. That is not a good plot point, having both teachers groom their students. And the thing is, our main female student character was already accused of being groomed by another teacher, but she says she didn't say that. But she when she spoke to the police, she hesitated, so they knew, and she didn't correct them. I want to throw this book out the window, and I'm sorry, the rest of the twist I saw coming. 2 hours of my life I will never get back. Wow, that was a bad Yeah. Like I said, it's halfway put me off. Spoilers over. Like I said, this has halfway put me off doing my backlog, reading Frida's backlog. I'll keep going, but if you can't tell, this is getting on hold. Unhauled. But that's the end of March. And I've read 6 books this month. I am not including the Inkwood Subscribe because even though I finished it in first day of March, I believe, if I'm not correct, Editing Michelle will add something here. Editing Michelle here. Editing Michelle doesn't know what she deleted yesterday, never mind when she actually majority read a book, so it will stay off the list for this month. Yeah. I believe I read majority of it in Feb. So these are the books that I read in order. I'm going to give my ratings because I can't remember them, so I do have my tablet up with them. So if you see me going back and forth, you know why. So we have One by One. I gave 3 stars to. City of Sinners, 5-star classic, sequels out there in my living room. I'm waiting a few months before I finish this series. The Drift, 4 stars. CJ Tudor. The Perfect Son, 2 stars. The Ending Fire, 4 stars. And The Teacher, 1 star. So 6 books read in March. To say I'd only read 5 books over 2 months before March. Yay me. My April TBR is either up now or is going to be next video after this. And hopefully April will be a better month than March because I have my TBR and then I hopefully have my 24-hour reading challenge. I said challenge right, but yeah, anyway, that was March. Hopefully a longer video than February. And I'm hoping in April to go back to, well, I'm hoping in April there will be 3 vlogs. Before the 24-hour reading challenge, 24-hour reading challenge, after 24-hour reading challenge, but who knows. So yeah, if you like this vlog, give it a like. If you agree with my thoughts or disagree, or you want to have a chat about the books, comment down below. But yeah, until whichever video is out next. Bye.